And this is where we start to think about well-balanced wines, right? And this is gonna blow your mind. This is gonna blow your mind. Why do fruits that taste so sweet, why do they have tannins? What the heck's going on here? What's nature doing? So tannins are naturally produced by plants in order for them to survive. The taste of tannins we know is bitter. It's astringent, okay? And plants make those chemical compounds so that they're not eaten by prey. Tannins in the leaves, tannins in the stems, tannins help give an aversive experience to any organism that is eating the plants. Now for us, once we have those tannins, yes, they provide some benefits in terms of aging and structure in a wine, and they allow the flavor to last a little bit longer. If they're too high, they can be a little bit unpleasing, right? Because you won't be able to talk, and it's like you have peanut butter in your mouth, right? And you sound silly. What are ways that we can neutralize those tannins, right? So, interesting thing. And this is where we start to think about well-balanced wines, right? And this is gonna blow your mind. This is gonna blow your mind. Tannins bind to proteins. What's in our saliva? Proteins and enzymes. When do we salivate? When do we salivate? We salivate maybe when we smell some good food, we start to salivate, right? We salivate in the presence of acid. Sangiovese has high acid. So, as soon as you put that Sangiovese wine in your mouth, right on the tip of your tongue, your mouth is gonna sense that high acid. What's it gonna do? It's gonna secrete saliva. Then what's the saliva gonna do? It's gonna bind to the tannins just by taking one sip of wine, one sip of a well-balanced wine. Okay, because if you don't take a wine that has some acid in it, you're not gonna have the saliva being produced. You don't have the saliva produced, then you don't have anything for the tannins to bind to. Hello everybody and welcome back to Wine and Whiskey with Steve. It is time for Winey Monday Night's Trivia and we are in round 1, week number 3. So this is the final week here and this is where we get to finally see who will be crowned Wine King or Wine Queen for our first round of trivia. So in our first round of trivia we went through grapes, then we went through regions, and then we went through vocab. The next round 2, will include up to 4 weeks, okay? But we had a short month because of starting a bit late, so we just fit in grapes, regions, and vocab for the first round. Okay, so I know everyone is really excited and really anxious to find out who the winners were. So after we reveal the answers, we'll be able to declare our Wine King and our Wine Queen. Okay, so today is Monday, May the 2nd, I believe, and coming off a kind of disappointing weekend with the Raptors being kicked out of the playoffs. But now I guess we're looking forward to the Leafs, right? Leafs, I believe, tonight are playing in Tampa Bay. So hopefully we have a better result with the Leafs than we did with the Raptors, okay? But either way, I wish you guys success on your Winey Monday Night Trivia. So without further ado, I got some stuff in the glass over here that is always just drawing my attention all the time. So let me make sure I focus on the questions and then talk about these 2 little fine bottles that we have beside us. Okay, so Maestro, are you ready for some answers? Yes? Okay, thumbs up. Okay, we're good to go. So question number 1. So we're dealing with vocab here. Okay, so wines with high alcohol or unbalanced alcohol level are often described as what? Is it A, is it dry, is it B, hot, is it C, light, or is it D, excellent? Even though we do like a little bit of alcohol in our wines, too much alcohol will not make them excellent. Even though they may taste good, just you gotta make sure you have the balance. Okay, so hot. Okay, so we're hoping for hot weather to be coming around now as we're coming into spring and going into transitioning into the summer months, but we don't want hotness in our wines, okay? So when the alcohol level is too high in the wine, it becomes unbalanced and you may feel some type of a burning sensation in your in your nasal cavity as you're inhaling, also after you swallow, your palate, down your esophagus, alimentary canal, you can get some burning in your throat. Okay, so winemakers want to avoid that. So what's one of the ways of avoiding it is to decrease alcohol level. But why do we have a lot of hot wines being made now? Why is this kind of an issue to talk about right now? Couple of factors. Okay, one, we can say global warming. Okay, so we have increased temperatures around the earth. Increased temperature is going to give you increased residual sugars. The increased residual sugars, so the sugars in the grape are going to lead to more fermentation, more alcohol production. Another reason why we're having a lot of wines with higher alcohol levels is because high alcohol levels give more body to the wine. They give it more weight in the mouth, and it can also give it a creamier mouthfeel. Okay, so it feels nice in the mouth, but then also when you sip it, it's going to make you feel nice after, right? Because it's higher alcohol level, right? So it's all about consumption. It's a mixture of that palate, that creaminess in the mouth, and then how it's making you feel. Okay, so yeah, those are the two reasons why we're seeing a lot more alcohol levels being elevated right now in wine. Now, one of the ways to still achieve that high alcohol level but not have that burning sensation, okay, so it's beneficial, right, for a winemaker to make wines that are a bit higher in alcohol, because we said it gives you that nice mouthfeel, nice creaminess in the mouth, okay, but it also makes you feel good after, right? So what's a way of getting around that burning sensation, right? So one of the ways that you can do that is by doing what these guys do over here, and also what this guy does over here. So we have Amarone. Okay, so Cantina Negra, just a very, very entry-level Amarone. Okay, you can pick this guy up at the LCBO for $32. Okay, so Amarone Appassimento style. Q, Foreign Affair, Appassimento style. Now, Amarone does their wine in 100% Appassimento. Okay, so this is going to leave you with higher residual sugar. Okay, so what's going to happen is the sweetness of the wine is going to kind of mask the high alcohol levels. Okay, so your Amarone, you're looking in a minimum alcohol percentage, alcohol by volume for Amarone must be at least 15%. You cannot call yourself an Amarone if you dip under that 15% of alcohol. A lot of Amarones are going to be kicking in at about 16.5%, sometimes 17%, okay, almost port-like. Now, they don't have the residual sugars that port has, at about 120 grams per liter. Amarone, you're looking anywhere between 8 grams up to maybe 20 grams of residual sugars per liter, okay? But they also have a higher extraction and the higher density of fruit in there, so that fruitiness helps balance the high alcohol in the wine. Foreign Affair, partial Appassimento. Here we have a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I believe 20%, 22% is Appassimento. Okay, so again, you have more body, more fruit, more extraction, and that's going to help balance the alcohol so you don't get the hotness off of the nose or on the palate. Okay, and Q is doing the same thing over here. This is a blend of a variety of grapes. Off the top of my head, you know, you have Cabernet Sauvignon, there's some Merlot in there may be some Malbec in there too. But again, it's partial Appassimento. So very good wines to try. Price point, $20 for this guy. Okay, $20 for the Q. It's called Soldier's Grant is the name of him. He comes through Vintages, LCBO, and he's available right now. So if you hop on this, the next 3 or 4 weeks, you'll be able to score a couple of bottles of it. This guy here, the Cab Sauv, this is available directly through Foreign Affair Winery. Goes for about $34, $35. Okay, so all similar price range. We got from 20 up to 30, 32 for the Amarone, 34 for this guy over here. Okay, so great buys. You have my guarantee, no hotness on the nose or on the palate. Question number 2. Oh boy, this guy. I'm gonna have to take a sippy sip of this guy here before I get into this word. Cheers. Nice ripe fruit, cassis in there. You get a little cedar, a little bit of smoke, a little black cherry. That's Mr. Cabernet Sauvignon from Foreign Affair, partial Appassimento. Thank you, Foreign Affair. Now I'm prepared to go on with question number 2. Terroir. So what are we talking about when we're using the term terroir? Tannins. Terroir. Is it A, is it a designated wine growing region? Is it B, a term for the vineyard environment? Is it C, a terracing method first used in northern France? Or is it D, small, adorable little dog that hunts and pees all over the vineyards? The answer is B. Hopefully everybody put B for this, guys. So it's a term for the vineyard environment. Okay, terroir encompasses everything about a grape growing site, from the wind to the sunshine to the precipitation. It gives it that certain je ne sais quoi, je ne sais quoi, je ne sais quoi, terroir, je ne sais quoi. Why do the French have so much influence in wine? What's up with this much? This is crazy, right? Where's the Italian representation? Where's the Spanish representation? Terroir. So it gives the wine some unique qualities that are specific to that location. I can go on talking for hours about terroir, but we need to get this up before Monday 8 p.m. So I'm going to be very selective here. I'm going to be selective and try to connect with the two wines that I've selected over here to represent some terroir. Okay, so when I'm doing these recommendations, I'm always trying to represent local. So we represent Canada and then connect it to somewhere else in the world. In this case, we're going to France. We're going to the Rhone. Okay, so limestone. Okay, so the soils. So the soils in which the grapes grow, the vines reach deep in, is going to be such a huge factor in the composition of that grape. Okay, so in terms of its the water content, the sugar, it's huge. So limestone is a very unique type of soil because it allows for good drainage. What it also does, when times are drier and warmer, it also retains some moisture, so it can provide moisture to the roots and to the grapes. Okay, so but in the cooler times, in the wet times, then it allows for drainage as well. So it's got this nice balance. And what we have over here in Angel's Gate, okay, so this guy comes from the escarpments, the 𝗵𝗁𝗏, and they have quite a bit of sloping terraces over there of limestone soil. So they have very, very good drainage, okay? And this allows for a nice minerality to be picked up and expressed in the wine. And that's what you find with a lot of the wines of the 𝗵𝗁𝗏. So, and here I'm singling out, I'm putting the spotlight on Angel's Gate Mountain View Chardonnay. This is a very exceptional Chardonnay. It's a very well-balanced Chardonnay. It's made in the Burgundian style. It has about 12 months of French oak. I can't remember the age of the vines off the top of my head, but I don't think they're anything younger than 25 years. Okay. And then on the opposite side, we have Côte d'Aron, so Mr. Chapoutier. Okay, 𝗪𝗏. I think this guy was featured in the sales from last month. He was $3 off. So regular price, I think he's about 17. Was on sale for 14. Now he's back up to 17. So sorry if you missed out. Now this guy is a blend. Okay, he's a blend of, I think there's Roussin, Viognier, and Marsanne. I think those are the three. No, maybe Grenache Blanc. Grenache Blanc, Roussin, Grenache Blanc, Roussin. Those are the two main grapes. And then I'm not too sure on the last one there, but it's a classic Southern Rhone blend. But again, terroir, okay, sloping terraces, limestone soil, okay, helps provide minerality. So when you're tasting both of these wines, yeah, you're going to get your nice fruits. You're going to get a little bit of your apples and your pears. In the Angel's Gate Chardonnay, you're going to get that toasty brioche because of the French oak. In the 𝗪𝗏, nope. No wood, okay? Stainless steel, okay? So what you do get, though, in both of them, surprisingly, you do get a little bit of that minerality, okay? A little bit of that wet stone. It's like that's the best way I can describe it. This wet stone, sometimes like a slight flintiness, but more like a wet stone. Okay, so terroir. That's what we want to taste when we're tasting wine. We don't want to taste the hands of the winemaker. Question number 3. I can take a hint. Now we're ready for question number 3. What are tannins? What are tannins? Number 3, what are tannins? Are they A, artificial wine coloring, or they B, the puckery taste in the wine. Is it C? Is it deep red color? Is it D? Found in most white wines. That's that puckering taste in the wine. Okay, so what are tannins doing? So they add structure to wines. They allow for the flavor of the wine to hang around in the mouth for just a little bit longer than if you had no tannins at all. If you haven't had wine before, you're not used to wines with big tannins, think of drinking black tea, okay, without any milk or sugar, like your, or coffee even. So not your Tim Hortons double, right? So just your black tea, black coffee, that dryness in the mouth after you swallow, those are your tannins, okay? So tannins are naturally occurring in grapes. They come from the stems, they come from seeds, and then they also come from oak aging, okay? The older a barrel is, the more wood tannins you can get into the wine. If a barrel is new, then it's going to give off a whole bunch of other compounds that are stored within the wood. Those compounds will leach out into the wine and provide the wine with flavors of, baking spices and cigar box and stuff like that. But once a barrel has been used a number of times, those compounds are no longer available to be leached from the wood into the wine, and then you have more of those tannins that are coming into the wine. Now, why do fruits that taste so sweet, why do they have tannins, right? So what the heck's going on here? What's nature doing, right? But so tannins are naturally produced by plants in order for them to survive, right? So the taste of tannins we know is bitter. It's astringent, okay? And plants make those chemical compounds so that they're not eaten by prey. Okay, so they're producers, they're food for other consumers out there, and tannins in the leaves, tannins in the stems, tannins help give an aversive experience to any organism that is eating the plants. Now for us, once we have those tannins, yes, they provide some benefits in terms of aging and structure in a wine, and they allow the flavor to last a little bit longer. If they're too high, they can be a little bit unpleasing, right? Because you won't be able to talk, and it's like you have peanut butter in your mouth, right? And you sound silly. So, what are ways that we can neutralize those tannins, right? So, interesting thing, and this is where we start to think about well-balanced wines, right? And this is gonna blow your mind. This is gonna blow your mind. Okay, so tannins bind to proteins. What's in our saliva? Proteins and enzymes. When do we salivate? When do we salivate? We salivate maybe when we smell some good food, we start to salivate, right? We salivate in the presence of acid. Okay? So, now think about this, right? We know that some wines have acid, right? So I'm going to take something like Sangiovese. Sangiovese has high acid. So, as soon as you put that Sangiovese wine in your mouth, right on the tip of your tongue, your mouth is going to sense that high acid. What's it going to do? It's going to secrete saliva. Then what's the saliva going to do? It's going to bind to the tannins. So it's crazy, right? I get goosebumps. You get this nice chemical reaction happening in the mouth just by taking one sip of wine, one sip of a well-balanced wine. Okay, because if you don't take a wine that has some acid in it, you're not going to have the saliva being produced. You don't have the saliva produced, then you don't have anything for the tannins to bind to, and then you're stuck with them in your mouth. Okay, so just think about that when it comes to the wines that you drink. How balanced are they? Okay, if you don't have the acid in the wine, then where are you going to get the acid from? Maybe you're going to get it from your food. Okay. And if you don't have acid in your food, then you got to make sure that you're ingesting some type of protein then, right? So that's why they always say, you should have red wines with meat. Well, because meats have protein, and the protein's going to bind to the tannins, so you don't have that puckering in your mouth, okay? It's all science, and it's all chemistry. So, that being said, though, what are some examples of some good Cabernets out there at good price points that can give you some good tannin level? Over here we have Konzelman. Okay, so Konzelman, this is a very affordable wine. I think this guy's only like $16. And he's even on sale this month. Okay, so go out, give this guy a shot. Minimal oak aging in this guy. You know, you're going to get your, see, you don't get typical cassis with Ontario Cabernets. You get a little bit of, it's a mixture of cassis and like a dark cherry. Okay. And that's what you're going to pick up on this guy. A little bit of some vanilla, some baking spices. Okay, nice, easy drinking, entry-level Cabernet Sauvignon. And then over here, we just had this guy over the weekend. So I was over at my sister's, and brother-in-law brought out one of these guys to have with some beef. Okay, and so sometimes, you know, when it comes to U.S. wine, California wine, you know, especially cabs, I kind of cringe because I know the style that they tends to make, right? These jammy wines, high alcohol, low tannin, and low acid, so just fat and flabby wines, really. Okay, that don't go with food. But lucky for this guy, he's coming from Washington State. Okay, so Washington State is a little bit cooler climate, a little bit more structure, a little bit more tannins. He even has a little bit of acid. Okay, which is great. So a little bit of acid, a little bit of tannins, and the oak. Okay, so no American oak on this guy. Okay, French oak. And not too much, okay? Maybe 10 to 12 months, not overly done. So on the nose, you're gonna get, you know, some black cherry, some cassis. You make it vanilla, okay? You make it list, but it's more kind of like this, like a mocha chocolate that you get, but there is that nice ripeness of fruits. And yeah, he's really well balanced and affordable. And right now, $3 off, okay? So I think he's only coming in at about 20 or 21 bucks right now, okay? So two good cabs, Washington, Ontario, side by side if you wish, okay? Piece of meat, sirloin, flank steak, good to go. Question number 4, what is enology? Is it A, is it the chemical makeup of ports, which we love port over here? Is it B, is it the study of wine? We love wine. Is it C, is it the love of wine? Is it D, is it the study of grapes? So what are we talking about when we're talking about the term enology? Ology, right? Study of what? Study of wine in this case. Scientific study of wine and winemaking is what we're looking at over here, guys. And if you're watching this channel now, then chances are you are also an enophile. A lover of wine. Wine lovers, okay? And for any wine lover out there, I need to recommend this tool over here. Okay, so this is the Coravin, and I've been saying I want to do an episode. I'm gonna do an episode this week on the Coravin. This tool is essential for any type of, I'm not gonna put labels out there, but if you're an individual that has, let's say, maybe 50 bottles, okay, maybe you have 50 bottles of wine stored somewhere in your house. Okay, cross fingers that you're storing this wine in a cool place out of the sun with stable temperature, okay, and moderate humidity. But if you like tasting varieties of wines and you have some type of a small little library of wines, okay, and maybe those wines go back a few vintages and you can't purchase them anymore, okay, you can't procure them, you can't secure them anymore, and you're scared to open the bottle because maybe you have only 2 bottles of it. Right? So, but you've been holding it maybe for 5 years and you're like, what the hell does it taste like? I've never tasted it before. So this tool here will allow you to puncture the foil, go into the cork, go into the bottle, access some wine, and then preserve the remainder of the liquid in the bottle for years, if you keep it at the right temperature. Okay, I'm not gonna babble anymore about this. You're gonna have to wait till the episode to come out for this guy. We're gonna do some crazy things with Coravin. See you later, Coravin. Okay, on to the next question. Let's do it. Okay, here we go, guys. Question number 5. This is for all the marbles. Okay, what is Cremant? What is Cremant? Is it a type of sherry? Is it B? Is it a type of sparkling wine? Is it C? Is it a method of filtering wine? Is it D? Le Crema, meaning the top cuvée of the House de Chateau? And the answer is, it is a type of sparkling wine. Okay, so Cremant is French for creaming, okay, and it generally refers to sparkling wines that are made in France, but more specifically outside the region of Champagne. In order to be called Champagne, you need to be made in the region of Champagne. Okay, so these wines that are the Cremant method are still using the traditional champagne method, just the only difference is that it's taking place outside of the region of Champagne. Okay. Also, for that, if you are a champagne, you need to be resting on your lees for a minimum of 12 months. Okay. For Cremant, it's a minimum of 9 months. Okay. So there's a 3-month difference there in terms of resting on the lees, and that's a minimum. Okay. Now, resting on the lees is very important in sparkling and in champagnes. I love leesy taste. I love the leesy flavor. So it can be like toasty brioche, but it is what it is. It's yeasty, right? It's like when you're making bread and you get that fermentation, you know, that smell of dough and pastry, okay, and cookie crumble, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's the longer it stays on the lees, the more of that you get in the bubbly. Okay, and there's a lot of regions out there that make Cremant. There's Cremant d'Alsace, which is predominantly Riesling and other grapes, Cremant de Bourgogne, Cremant de 𝗪𝗓𝗏, I almost said the manure, 𝗪𝗏𝗏, Limous, damn you French, and Cremant de Loire. So in terms of good representations of this out there, Ontario, Angel's Gate again. Okay, so Archangel Chardonnay. This is such a beautiful wine, beautiful sparkling, 100% Chardonnay. I'm pretty sure is what goes into this guy, and it is a minimum of 3 years on the lees. Okay, so over 36 months. I have a couple of their 2014 vintage. It was available for the last couple of years, I believe. Now I think they have the 2017 is available. Okay, but extremely well done. Only $30. Okay, $30, and very, very, very comparable to Champagne. Fine mousse bubbles. Okay, nice apple, nice toastiness, nice brioche. Very effervescent, okay, very well structured, awesome wine. And then from France, Cremant de Lemieus, okay, J. Lorenz, Le Moulin, $20, okay, $20. This guy is about 90% Mosaic grape. That's the indigenous grape of the Lemieus region. And yeah, again, so nice apple, nice pear, nice ripe apple and pear, nice bubbly, fine bubbles. A little bit of toastiness, a little bit of brioche. Okay, so awesome value. 2 very good sparklings. Definitely worth your try. Okay, and we have finished the first round of Winey Monday Night Trivia. And we have our winners now ready to be declared. So, coming in third place. Yeah, that's a pretty good drum, all right? We have with 2 points, David Spencer. Applause. And coming in first place, we have a tie. We have a 2-way tie for first place. In first place, we have Michael Marino and Miles Carlisle. So both with perfect scores, 3 out of 3. Congratulations to all the participants that made an effort to study and do their research, do their homework, and play along in Monday Winey Night Trivia. So this concludes round number 1. Stay tuned very shortly for rounds number 2. So thanks everybody for tuning in. And as always, okay, feel free to like and subscribe. Let me know what's drinking. Okay, what are you drinking tonight as the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing their first game against the Tampa Bay Lightning? What's going to help you get through the game in one piece? Okay, cheers. Until next time, everybody, value in the glass.